Hello, Pandatos. Hello, Pandatos. It's been a hot minute since I've posted anything, and you may have noticed a pattern that continuously seems to be appearing of inconsistency on my part, and there's a reason for that. Let's chat, I guess. Let's do story time. 2015, I started my first job as a groundskeeper, weed whacking, lawn mowing, planting, making sure that things needing trimmed to prevent fires were being trimmed, and I loved it. I truly loved it, and I was getting good at it, better and better as the days turned into months and then years. But at some point, with allergies not being the only thing bringing me down, I started getting extremely sick after each time I was at work. I kept on telling myself that it was fine, and I would fall into a delusional pit of just living in how I was feeling, and that was the normal. And so I kept on going. My employer soon turned to a non-blood related grandma that I greatly cared about, that lives and still lives in an extremely toxic environment. And around this time, the coworker that I worked with also quit and sabotaged equipment and did some other unsavory things. After I started taking over more, after she left, I got bad enough that my family held an intervention, telling me that asking me if I would really like to die at work, because I simply could not breathe, and everyone understood it. Even distant family understood that was a very real possibility. And so I had to quit with the outside stuff. Before I quit, I know that I'm rambling on, but I'm not used to talking about these sort of things. Before that intervention, 5 years before, I went to the doctors and they told me that I had an extremely overactive immune system, and that practically anything could trigger my body to send histamines to my lungs, to my nose, to my eyes, to all that good stuff. And that I should seek employment in air-treated areas, otherwise it wouldn't be very good for me. I had to stay because, as I mentioned, she has a very toxic environment. She has very toxic people around her. Everyone that has cared has either been ran off by her husband or has simply been cons, as much as her husband is a con. And so I stayed. I was like a soldier. As dumb as it sounds, I was like a soldier on the front lines of weed defense. Everything that I did, even when I could barely breathe, even when I could barely even see with how watered my eyes were, or swamped in my mask that I would tramp through pretty significant heat during the summers and just continue repeating to myself that I was the only one available. And at that point, I was. And unfortunately, it seems that is still the case, because I am still at the job. And though I did take 3 years off of outside stuff, especially off and on cleaning inside houses and things, but I was told, I asked specifically if I had to worry about it getting worse, and they said that as long as I took time off and I was in an air-treated area, that I would be fine. Welcome to 2025, and I hardly have energy to do anything creative, really, or anything helping people. It's harder for me to exert myself, and I have a runny nose or a plugged nose, or a bad cough, or Basically, I'm a little sick every day. I don't know if I have any like primary immune things or anything, because I simply kept on pushing into something that I obviously was previously exposed to due to my family's problems or what, but I know that it is getting worse. And I'm a bitch. I'm a lazy person by default, and so I'm not like Iron Mouse, and I'm not at a point where I can just not even partially towards how much stuff Iron Mouse deals with, and I just crash out. I just like, okay, well, I'm not doing a video today. Okay, I'm not doing a video again. Okay, I'm not doing a video again. Because there's always something going on, right? There's always something life throws at you. And a lot of what's thrown at me has having to do with muscle work or helping in allergy areas. I am back to working at my non-blood related grandma's again, because unfortunately the caretakers that was supposed to take care of her in my place do not treat her correctly, and they don't know how to clean, and quite recently has stolen over half of her savings. It's been a very stressful time, and I try to do as much as I can, so I have even less time to do things, and it's been hard because the people that she and I once trusted many times now have betrayed us, stolen things from us, or caused more problems than necessary. And so I have a lot of trust issues because of it. This has happened both digitally and in the real world, and so it's very important for me to get out content for you guys, but these are very real things. And my grandma, my non-blood related grandma's getting older. I really can't believe that someone would steal from an elderly person like that. I just don't understand it. But I also feel bad about not getting content out, or not putting out very faithful content, I would say. Times where I'm trying to make myself feel happy by just forcing a smile on my face and raising my voice and being like, oh my god, guys, this game's awesome, and laughing and all that. I know that's not healthy. You know, when I became a fan of Iron Mouse back when she was using her simpler model with the background that she didn't pay for, it was like a simple Lofi background with like a study desk, and it might have been raining outside. It was one of the ones that you see often, and her model didn't have a nose and stuff. I never expected that I would have something. I'm not saying that I have anything even close to her, but to think that there's people that deal with as much as Iron Mouse does. It's people that they don't know they have a primary immune deficiency until they're older, and it comes out of nowhere. It doesn't matter what state you're in. It's horrible to think about. And immune deficiencies are not unknown in my family. Recently learned that Mama Kishi has had, for a good section of trying to seek help for her issues, a good abundance of the times has been doctors and nurses just telling her that she's crazy, or it's in her head, or that it's something, but they can't find out what it is, and that might be what was talked about is a very scary thing. The only thing that I know for sure is that I have chronic allergies, And like I said, I'm a bitch for even complaining about it. Iron Mouse freaking puking her brains out after singing, and then singing some more when she comes back. It's insane. I never expected to have any problems like this, and I think it's just going to take a lot of adapting. But that's something I'm good at. I'm good at adapting, reverse engineering, and finding out how to use weaknesses and turn them to strengths. I could do that. Speaking of unpaid for lo-fi backgrounds, the background behind me was made by Copilot. I don't know what artist they stole from, but just saying right now, I apologize for using it, but I don't have money to just throw at any artist and get them to make me a background. And even if I did have enough money, like for instance getting someone off of Fiverr, for those that aren't scammers on Fiverr, I do not feel good having like a background like this made for like $15. Like that seems way too low for me, and I just, it makes my skin crawl. I hate knowing that I am not giving enough to an artist throughout social media's history. So yeah, that's, to be fair, Copilot was cooking. Copilot was freaking cooking when it made this. Like, I don't see any real spot that looks like it was made by AI. And like, you have to understand, this room was started with just, it was smaller than it is. It didn't have any lights. It didn't have a large bed. It had a bed that looked like a freaking Goldilocks would be sleeping on it. It had one computer. It didn't have a view. It's advanced insanely, and it's very scary for people that are using AI, especially AI art, for monetary purposes, just like knowingly stealing from someone else, and then like stickers and things that you don't even need to make anymore. You could just tell AI to make it, and it's horrible, to say the least. But anyway, I was getting on a rant, so I apologize for not continuously making content. I really don't like doing it, but you know, a lot of times it's because I deem my voice too monotone and gravelly, or barred off, because I constantly have to cough, or you know, my voice, I don't deem it as professional sounding. Like, this is what my voice normally sounds like. I have to add like higher up, like, hello Pandados, my name is blah 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 blah, and fucking shit. And my voice normally when I'm just talking to like friends is this, and I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like my natural voice. So on top of my natural voice and having instances where it's just super gravelly because of nasal drainage shit, I don't know, I don't think anyone would listen to it. Man, even still, it sounds like, oh, my tummy hurt versus literally vomiting. Man, I am a bitch. I don't know what more I could say. I guess I wanted to be transparent with you guys and let you know that's pretty much what my life story has been for a good while now. Before the video gets too long, I would like to thank all the wonderful viewers that have brought me up to 142 subs. I don't know why exactly you did that. My content's really mid, to be honest. And no matter what I try, it doesn't seem like I can get past that. I try to be authentic, and that's unless I'm really feeling down, but then I do the video and it's hard for me to put the video out because I feel like I'm letting you guys down. if I put out content that I don't like myself or had fun doing. Thanks for sticking around. I have tons of plans for this channel, but yeah, I'm just a lazy ass, and it also doesn't help that I'm essentially on call for a mentally unwell woman, thanks to how her life is. Dicks. Well, I guess since everyone else is putting in their 2 cents, with the Vshojo situation, I wanted to believe that Gunrun was like and again, as I put on my Twitter post, I am not involved or even half involved or even partially involved. I'm just adding my 2 cents because everyone else is. And also I feel like I can at least say that I wanted to get big enough to join Vshojo because Iron Mouse was there, and Iron Mouse has introduced all the talents in Vshojo to me, and all of them just seem like they work well together, and it seems like they just want to be creative, have fun, and make people laugh. And from what I heard previously, Gunrun seemed like a genuine person. Didn't know he was a fucking monster. I seen in one of Iron Mouse's recent videos that she's getting invites to these different corporations or to create her own corporation. And I will say right now that I will do everything in my power to join if she if she actually makes a corporation and she's running it, because I know that with the kind heart and everything that she has, and also business sense, a lot more freaking business sense than Gunrun ever had. Holy shit. Yeah, I do everything in my power to try and get streaming up and going again. My internet right now is not anywhere close to sufficient enough for streams. I loved bouncing off of you Pandados and you bouncing off of me, and just at that point trying to bring me out of my comfort zone. And if I didn't have those experiences, I would not be making this video right now. So yeah, I hope to go back to that. It's supposed to get better internet wise, like in the coming year. They're putting up more satellites and stuff, because you know how freaking Starlink is. At least it seems like a lot of people do. I tell them what I'm on, and they're just like, why the fuck did you do that if you want to stream? The connection's not bad in the slightest, but like compared to what I had previously. But it, like, every 3 seconds it seems it disconnects, and then it will take like milliseconds to reconnect, but that little bit is all it takes for streams and stuff to kick. Wasn't even freaking able to play Danny's World with anyone because I just kept getting kicked out for the most part. There was only certain days and times that I was able to do it, but otherwise it was just way too inconsistent. Like my content. yeah, I know. I'm a freaking lazy ass. I'm really trying though. That doesn't sound like anything compared to Iron Mouse though. But I insanely loved watching Connor and Iron Mouse play Phasmophobia for the first time, and how much fun they had. And for those of you who don't know, I used to be a YouTuber. Extremely small, but I was still a YouTuber, and I didn't feel like I was providing enough to my viewers to just have a voice. Some people can really pull it off, but at that point I was too shy to add any innuendos, jokes, any random yaps like today. And so it was just boring to me, and I figured it would be boring to my community as well. So I started with 3D models, and I just got addicted to changing them too much and lost fan base because of that, and yada yada yada, and here we are now. And I love it. I do. That's why I wish I could do more. I really do. So anyway, yeah, it's a shame that all the good people in Vshojo, and that's talents included, I mean, they lost their jobs, man. They lost their jobs. They probably had plans for the future that entailed having security in the position that they were in the job, and now they're having to change it, and there might be some things that they can't take back, but they simply don't have a job now. I think, I don't know, I haven't checked since Gunrun's post, but no, I doubt it. There's legal actions that still have to pass, right? Yeah. So it's probably still under like surveillance, and so they can't destroy the business until that is saw out. I hope that everyone gets a true explanation, not just a child's wild freaking, I apologize for this, I don't care. That's another reason why I've been so down, probably, is because first it was my grandma's stuff that, you know, with her money being stolen, that brought me down even lower than I normally am, and then it was the Vshojo stuff, and then that so-called apology. It's like, why even put an apology out, man? You owe that much money to all of these different talents, and then you especially seemed like you boycotted against some staff that were trying to help the talents in the hellscape that you made them of psychological manipulation, or even fired some of them for just being good people that tried to help, and mark it off as just to save expenses. With that apology, I mean, that's essentially what's happening to my grandma as well. You know, just like, oh, well, if I do this, you know, it's gonna be okay, and I won't have to pay you back, and I don't know why I did this, and I apologize, and none of that's gonna fucking make up for anything. You know that, right? None of that is gonna make up for anything, because, I mean, stealing is stealing. Stealing is stealing. Psychological manipulation is stealing. I know about both of those things. That has happened at least 4 times in my career at my grandma's. Non-blood related grandma's, but still, I consider her my grandma. And it never gets easier. And it takes so much power for good people to put their foot down. And even still, it hurts them. It really does. If you're a good person, even if you're doing the right thing by, like, you know, arresting someone for stealing an account or anything like that, which, I mean, that is way in the future and nothing like that has ever happened. But even just talking about a evil situation or an evil person, it takes power in order to not bring yourself down by doing that, because even though they're in the wrong, you feel like you are the one in the wrong, and it makes everything else difficult and kind of cloudy, and you question your judgment and things like that. And I imagine the exact same thing is, well, it's at least a similar situation to Vshojo, and like, you can't just apologize for that shit. But good people don't just follow along with like the crowd mentality and go, yeah, I wish they burn in hell, I wish everyone gets fired, I wish they never find a job again. It's just like, You feel bad for that. You do. At least I do. I know Iron Mouse does. I'm sure she has more than enough choice words, but I mean, Connor as well. It's just like, you know, you think about it from their perspective of just like, it's real people and it's really happening. And even though they're 100% wrong, you can't just go like, they need fucked. They need fucked legally, they need fucked mentally, they need fucked this, they need fucked that, they need to burn in hell. You could say those things, but mentally, you don't mean it. If you're the kind of person that I am, and that other people like me are alike. It opens yourself up to lots of trust issues. It opens yourself up to lots of scams leading to trust issues. Lots of instances where you're helping people and you really should not be, because they don't give a shit about you. All they're out for is the number one, and that is them. And you still want to help them. So then trust issues are formed when things don't work out, even though you've done absolutely nothing. And I'm more worried about my health because I've never struggled. I helped move in another another non-blood related grandma. I helped move another candidate for a non-blood related grandma, and by the end of it, extremely not difficult things to carry were gassing me, and I could barely breathe. I practically passed out like 2 times, and it's because of the time before that I was around allergies, but still, I never had to deal with anything like that. And I feel ill, a little ill every day, and it sucks. It really sucks. It just makes me feel like I'm useless. It makes me feel like I'm not doing as much as I need to, and it makes me feel like it's not all physical. It's a lot of it is in my head. But then I get these feelings of freaking rocks in my throat and coughing that strips my throat of any moisture, and then I realize that's not, but it doesn't make it any easier. It makes me feel like I'm more of a liability than I am a helper or a person that tries to help people. Anyway, that's enough complaining about me and shit. I don't typically do this, but if there's anything that you guys have had this summer that has been very shitty and you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it, and we can support each other. And if this isn't a horror game video, but it is on the horror game channel, so if you have any suggestions for me to play, then please leave it down below. Until next video, please be yourself, and see ya.